Hello there, my friend. Welcome or welcome back to Cross Fitness. I'm David. I help men and women get in the best spiritual shape of their lives one workout at a time. Quick thought in this video that I'm calling a different spirit. A different spirit. I was listening to a sermon during my workout by Max Lucado. Oh, what a wonderful speaker. He speaks as good as he writes. And he was talking about Caleb. We're in Joshua chapter 14, beginning at verse 6, where Caleb goes to Joshua, who now has crossed the Jordan. The land is under conquest under his leadership. And Caleb goes to Joshua to remind him of a promise from Kadesh Barnea. When the 12 spies came back, 10 out of 12 had a negative report. But Joshua and Caleb said, we're well able to take the land because the Lord our God is with us. But as you know, if you're familiar with the story, the children of Israel was overcome with fear, and as a result, God consigned them for 40 years in the wilderness of wandering. So Caleb comes to Joshua with a different spirit. In fact, the Bible identifies, he's the only man in the Bible who is identified as a man with a different spirit. This is Caleb, and he's now 85 years old. He says, I'm as strong as I was 4 decades ago, and I'm ready to claim the promise, take the land. And he wanted Hebron. Hebron was purchased by Abraham. It was a burial place for Abraham's descendants. And Caleb wanted it. And the Anakim were there. These are giants. These are the Nephilim were there. And Caleb says, I want it. I want to claim that. Give it to me. And Joshua did. And Caleb went in, and at 85 years old, he and his tribe, his clan, they went and took Hebron. And God allowed them, by the power of the Spirit, to overcome the descendants of Anak. These giants, and to displace them from Hebron. And so I was just thinking about this different spirit, and 3 thoughts came to mind I wanted to share with you in this brief video today that might be an encouragement to you. Number 1 is Caleb was mindful, and he didn't allow 40 years earlier for the bad report of his 10 fellow spies who Moses had discharged to go search the land out, the promised land, and report back. He didn't allow them to influence him. They had a pessimistic, negative, fearful report, but Joshua had a positive, faithful, overcoming report that, if God is with us, we're well able to take the land. And so he was mindful. He guarded his mind. He had this discipline of that. So what does that mean to you and me in 2026? Well, Max Lucado goes on with an illustration. He takes 2 bowls on a table as he's preaching on the pulpit area. One is full of water and one is full of acid. He cuts an apple in half. He puts half of the apple in the water and then half of the apple in the acid. Okay? And he said, we're going to come back in 5 minutes and take a look at these, and you tell me which one you would prefer to eat, because they're marinating in, what's their environment, their surroundings, and that apple is taking it in. And of course, predictably, that no one would want to eat the one with the acid in it because it would absorb all that toxic material. And so what his point is that the apple is our mind, and the water or the acid are our thoughts or the thoughts of others, okay? And so we need to be mindful of what we listen to, okay? What we binge watch, what we scroll and read, what we podcast, and on we listen to. And so we need to be mindful of that. And so it's a very poignant illustration. And Caleb was a man of a different spirit who was mindful. He didn't allow others to poison his mind. The second thing about Caleb is that Caleb was faithful. in the few verses, the handful of verses that Caleb is having a conversation with Joshua, 9 times he mentions the Lord. 9 times, capital Lord. 9 times he mentions the Lord. Okay? And he was faithful. He believed God 40 years earlier. He believed God at age 85. He believed God and was bold in his representation of him before Joshua. Said the Lord is well able to use someone like me, an old man, to go take Hebron. And that's exactly what happened. He was faithful. And so we need to be faithful to the Lord. His promises are true. We can count on the Bible. He is who he said he is in the Word. He'll do what he says he's going to do. And we can claim the promises of God in the Bible, and we can stand on them. And then the last thing about Joshua is about Caleb is Caleb was contagious. Okay? He was a contagious believer. He believed in Yahweh. He believed in Jehovah, the God of Israel, and that his spirit would come upon him and he would energize him to take the land. And his contagion, he had a case of faith, while the 10 spies earlier had a case of fear. So what's it going to be? Are you going to be a contagious Christian? Are you going to lead with faith? Or are you going to, allow your mind to be poisoned by the world and just play into all the negativism, the political divide, all the things that are wrong with the world? Or are we going to concentrate and focus on what God is doing in and through the church of Jesus Christ? So Caleb had a different spirit, and I would argue that it would go well with us if we had a different spirit also as we enter into our day today, that we can be mindful, we can be faithful, and we can be contagious. So that's what I want you to think about today. For now, I'm David, your virtual mentor, reminding you that I'm always for you, never against you. Go in the peace of God.